Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Absolute Zeros. Don't know what happened there. The intro didn't play all the way through. Anyways, hi. I am Josh. He is Daz. How you doing, my man?
Dude, I am doing fantastic. I really can't complain. What about yourself?
Awesome. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Just tired beyond belief. Like this whole day has gone by so fast, but also it feels like it's not long enough. Do you feel me?
Oh yeah, I mean, they always say that you can sleep when you're dead, but I can't sleep. So it's kind of, I don't know, I feel lied to. But I guess that's why you have me here, because it's always good to have a ghost on staff.
Yeah, true, true.
I
No,
work the
yeah,
graveyard shift.
up until the last minute, I was working on this because I'd been doing other stuff throughout the day, and just like I completely forgot about this until like 3 hours ago. I was like, oh shit, I gotta actually do this stuff for this. So yeah, it's weird.
Well,
Also, I don't know what was going on with the actual intro. It just skipped on my end, so I don't know if it actually showed all the way through. Anyways,
let me just say too, I noticed we got a couple extra new clips in there since I was last here, and I'm loving it. That intro is banger. I was doing
oh
a little
yeah.
dancing, a little bit of the dancing, a little bit of groovement.
Oh, absolutely. I love the intro. Always updating, always adding. Like I forgot to put it. Like I said, we were doing. I was doing stuff today, so wasn't able to update the logo of the podcast on the visuals. But I will do that next time. So next time we'll have the actual updated brand new logo for this podcast.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, that being said, how are you guys doing today? It's a lovely, actually, really lovely Sunday afternoon on the third of March. So
Oh yeah, it's even nice for those of us who are you know neurologically challenged. I can't feel things because I'm dead, but I do notice that it's pretty outside.
yeah, absolutely. Like I hate going outside, but I was just looking. I was like, damn, this is actually pretty good for Sunday in Texas. Okay,
Oh yeah,
weird.
the hellhounds were happy about it too.
Hellhounds. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, not going to be too much to talk about today. Only got three actual topics prepped. That being said, we can talk about other stuff if it comes to mind.
Oh
That
well, you might have to be careful and get the hook out because I can talk.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I know you can talk. I know you can talk. First and foremost, I would like to talk about this amazing news that I heard the past couple weeks. That being, Mitch McConnell is finally leaving Senate. Like, holy fuck, this dude is
He's
two
the king
thousand
of
years
bad
old.
takes too, in my opinion.
The single most person who's contributed to anything wrong in this world is finally leaving Senate.
He's like an Emperor Palpatine situation, you know.
He's like 2,000 years old. It's like, you should have been gone so much longer before
I'm just,
this.
you know what? I'm just surprised that like people even allowed him to continue existing because I swear to God, I saw a Senate hearing
Hmm.
on the news, and that guy coughed up dust. I promise. I'm like 99% sure that's what I saw.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, more than likely. The unfortunate bit of this is that Mans ain't leaving until November.
Fuck.
Yeah. Like bittersweet news, good news and bad news. Like wish you would have left now, but
Yeah, because
uh,
now they have to wait till the next election for
yep.
us.
God, it sucks. But yeah, no one really knows who the successor to the GOP uh, uh, position is going to be. But we can only hope it's someone better than him.
Oh yeah. You know what? I have something a little bit completely like curveball for you. It's not prepped. I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Uh, so Blue Exorcist came out with a season 3, and
Yeah.
the Crypt Keeper and I are watching it, and you know, I gotta say, Blue Exorcist walked so that way JJK could run. Because like rewatching Blue Exorcist with her because it came out while I was in high school, um, and we're currently trying to catch up on JJK season 2. There's so many similar themes, so many similar themes. Like
Hmm.
when you think about it, just like line for line, Blue Exorcist, kid of Satan, right?
Yeah.
Uh, the church is trying to kill him. JJK kind of fuses with what is basically like, I guess, like Japanese Satan. Their holy exorcist people are now trying to murder him. There's some parallels. There's some
Yeah,
parallels.
yeah, yeah. There are definitely some
They're
parallels.
both in schools, to be exorcists.
Yeah, yeah. Japan loves their exorcism,
Oh
loves
yeah.
their exorcist stuff.
And we just watched like Mob Psycho too, so it's just really been an exorcist crypt recently because I love Mob Psycho when they're like exorcise. The English
I
dub Satan.
have not watched Blue Exorcists in forever, so I really need to catch up.
Oh, it's great. It's
Yeah.
it's definitely worth it. I think Crunchyroll must have released it at a higher definition than on release when it came out because
Hmm.
it used to be 720p last time I watched it, and now it's in 1080, which is so
Nice.
nice.
Oh, definitely. At least it's not 360 in 7 parts as it was on
Oh
YouTube.
god, yeah, and it's also not like Bleach in 4 by like 9
Ugh.
240p, so you put it on anything bigger than your phone and it looks like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, good old YouTube anime days.
Oh yeah. Before the days of Kiss Anime, you would look up, fucking Code Geass episode 1 part 1 full episode English dub and it would show up.
Yeah, yeah, I remember those. I watched quite a number of Naruto episodes on YouTube that way. It's like,
Oh, same here because like there was nowhere else to watch it other than Hulu, but then you're watching like 9 ads an hour. So then it's like, cool, I've spent an hour and a half because 30 minutes of it were ads.
mm, yeah.
But what's next on the agenda? What's next on the agenda? What are
So,
we rocking?
yeah, that Mitch McConnell story is just very light, like taster meal, like
Okay.
appetizer. It's not really something either of us can fully go in depth into. I just wanted to bring it up and just
Oh, I mean, it's just
celebrate the
basically.
fact that he's
Oh yeah,
fucking gone.
it's like saying the what is it, the witch is dead, in the Wizard of
Yeah,
Oz. Same beat,
yeah.
same beat.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah. Besides that, I really want to talk about Warner Brothers and David Zaslav in particular. His handling of Warner Brothers IPs, mainly DC and Looney Tunes, because we've had a couple stories over the past 2 weeks come out where Warner Brothers was pitched a animated Batman Beyond movie in a similar style as to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And we also learned that they are going to be they have canceled or just done away with Coyote versus Acme.
Oh yeah, and I think for me, I don't know about you, but as a kid, I saw Looney Tunes back in action for the first time, and I loved it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a great movie. If you haven't tried watching it, highly recommend it. They do their correct mix of like 2D plus practical and CGI effects to make it feel like the cartoons are actually within our world, kind of similarly to Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yep.
And it really frustrated me hearing that. I think that came out like a month ago or something now, something like that. I think that's
What Coyote versus Acme?
yeah, because it was they said the filming was done,
Yeah, the
which is
filming,
insane.
everything is completely done for that. Same goes, same as Batgirl back
Yep.
when that came out. But yeah, everything is completely finished. Maybe a few tweaks here and there, but overall, the movie is finished and just needs to be released. But Warner Brothers doesn't want to do that because they don't like money apparently, and they, instead of accepting offers to have it streamed on on a certain streaming site or be released in theaters with another company, they just decide to shelve it, cancel it, delete it, just get rid of it entirely.
Oh yeah, and that's super weird to me because I understand where they're coming from, right? They're like, we're this huge multi-billion-dollar company. We'll just can it and put it on our taxes as a loss. Because I think their new strategy and a lot of these different, producer strategies is make something, can it, mark it as a loss on our taxes to go down to the tax bracket, down another tax bracket. Because when you're at the top of the tax bracket, they're losing I think it's 20% or some shit of all of their income. Which I get that hurts, but make more money. Just make more money. Just release the beautiful art that you're making, and you know what? You might not have to worry that much about taxes. But I
Make
guess
more
they're
movies.
doing the
Make
safe
good
bet.
movies.
Oh yeah, and when I heard that the Batman Beyond thing got canceled, or not canceled, but they didn't pick it up,
Yeah.
it blew my mind because first off, we got Kevin Conroy just died, right? And I
Yeah.
think we have Batman oversaturation right now, where we have all these mediocre or good but not critically acclaimed movies that DC is making and different IPs and things. I didn't think a Batman Beyond basically reboot would be a great way to kind of push past where the Batman stories they have been telling and tell something fresh that hasn't been told since I think the late 90s.
Yeah.
And arguably one of the best written Batman series, period. And I'd love to see that. That was an instant, easy win for them because everybody loves Spider-Verse's Studios art style. They really are able to translate comics into film really, really well in a unique way that's interesting to watch.
Absolutely. I grew up watching Batman Beyond, and even to this day, it is one of the best newer DC animated series. Newer as in I'm counting Batman the animated series as older.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's fair.
Yeah.
I remember my favorite villain as a kid was the lady who was like an ink blot. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Ink.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I couldn't remember her name. Look at that. Beautiful. Thank you for having the
I
brain cells in this conversation.
INQUE, I believe. Ink.
Yeah. Because, I liked the characterization of all the villains, but I think hers was so real. Because, I remember there's an episode where, Ink finds her daughter and then
Mm-hmm.
tries to have her daughter help her hide herself because Batman injures her pretty bad and she's kind of on the run and is having trouble. And then Ink's daughter just turns her in to a corporation that decides to do more experiments on her. Freaking crazy. And then eventually those experiments hurt her so bad that she can't maintain her human form anymore and she washes down the drain. But I think it was so real because she's never seen her daughter before and shows up on her daughter's doorstep, a wanted woman, and goes, "Hey, can you take care of me?" And I love that realism of, I'm just trying to live, bro. I got debt. I don't know who you are. And apparently you're a bad person, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I forgot to pull this up, but
I
this right here is literally
The concept art?
it's literally the concept art. Let me
Oh my god, that's
damn it.
beautiful.
There it is, finally. Here we have
It's
the
an ink in
concept
the background. Wait,
the
that's
concept
such a
art is
great
Ink fighting
segue.
Batman. Yes.
I didn't
It's
even realize that. That's awesome.
seriously, this would have been so good. This neo-apocalyptic, the neo-futuristic vibe of Batman Beyond would
Oh,
work so
yeah.
well with this animation, and we haven't had Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis in really any media for
About a
a
decade,
long
right?
time. Any visual media. I know he's been in comics and he's had his own
Even
comic run, but
even the
visual
comic
media.
runs he's in aren't all that great, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're kind of middling. It's like they
Mhm.
forgot how to write him, which might be one of the reasons that Warner Brothers was like, I don't think we can realistically make a good Batman Beyond film, especially because if you look at how much Across the Spider-Verse cost Sony.
Hmm.
If it's not got good writing and people don't show up for the visual style, you're boned. It's really expensive to make those types of movies, and I get that, but just get better writers. I like you could literally just poach across the Spider Verse's writers, and I bet you they could make a better Batman Beyond film than any of the current DC writers. I don't think I've like read a good DC comic in probably 5 years. I mean, some of their animated movies are really, really good, but like they're either fantastic or they're terrible, and there's never an in between.
Yeah, I'm currently reading a like their Wonder Woman series,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually really good. Like Wonder Woman is a really good character, and I don't see enough of her in like comics or general
And
media.
I
And
feel like
I'm
when we
really
do,
enjoying
she's a
this comic
supporting
series.
character.
Say what?
I feel like when we do, she's either a supporting character that doesn't do much, or she's just I am Princess Diana and not like Wonder Woman, which I think is a very stark difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I think we've only had like two actual visual media portrayals of Wonder Woman, and I'm talking about live action performances.
Yep. Like
And
1984, and then I think the other one's just called Wonder Woman.
it's 1984 version and Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Like we need more Wonder Woman. Like she's getting a bit more love in the animated movies and like TV series, but other than that, it's like I don't know. We just need a good live action Wonder Woman.
Well, hear me out. This might I might be about to have a really hot take.
Yeah.
I need you to prepare yourself for
All
this.
right. All right.
So I think instead of making characters that were originally like either a dude or like completely flipping their origin stories and like all that type of stuff and like the minority groups that they fall into, just take the fantastic women characters that we have that we've seen do crazy things in the comics over the years and use them. Like She-Hulk's a really good example of that. We finally got She-Hulk. And I know people maybe didn't like it as much as that I was expecting them to. I had a pretty good time.
It
They
was completely accurate to the comics.
yeah, she's kind of a goofball if in some of the comics that she's in, and that's kind of what they leaned into, and I really liked that. I don't think every comic book hero has to be so serious and drama filled, and I think you can still create a like fulfilling and strong female character that passes that like female character limits test. I can't remember the name of it. And still be relevant and a good role model for women around the world. And I think DC drops the ball on that consistently,
We
personally.
don't need everything to be CWized.
Oh yeah, like I don't need female Thor. Just make another female character that kicks ass. I want to see like cool new concepts, and I feel like by rehashing old ones and then just changing who they are as a character, I don't get to see anything new and cool. I've already seen Thor 80 times. I don't need to see him as a woman, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So circling back around to Batman Beyond and Warner Brothers, it goes into my point where Warner Brothers isn't really utilizing their characters or their IPs very well, in my opinion. Like I've noticed over the past few years, starting with Zack Snyder's run, like they really did not know what to do with DC. Like they have the entire DC lineup at their fingertips, whereas Marvel does not, and they could not make a compelling cinematic universe. Like they're always trying to catch up with Marvel or try to compete with Marvel, where they shouldn't do that. They should go their own pace, build up the characters, and make compelling stories for the audience to enjoy, for the comic book fans to enjoy, and that's not what they're doing. Like I hope James Gunn is gonna do that now. Like I've seen the images of the new Superman suit, and it looks pretty good. We've got the underwear on the outside, and the the Superman S looks pretty good. Looks very good. But I just don't have too much confidence in Warner Brothers to make good live action DC movies at the moment. And it also goes with my personal thoughts and opinions that Warner Brothers probably shouldn't have DC or Looney Tunes anymore.
Yeah, I think so. My take on this, right, is DC and Marvel do different things really, really well.
Yeah.
Marvel's animated series all suck. I don't think I've watched a single Marvel animated series in the past 10 years that I liked.
Um, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Spectacular Spider-Man.
It's just they're so mez and mez. They're just mid. I can't think of
Okay.
any one that like really surprised me. I was like, whoa, I gotta watch this whole thing. Whereas DC, you've got like Flashpoint. We've got that multiverse one that we got out part 1 recently. That Flash goes to a different universe and like all of the Justice League guys are bad, and that was pretty cool. Um,
Oh yeah, that.
all of their animated series knock Marvel out of the park. And I think what they really need to do is what Marvel did that originally made them successful: have those C-level execs go sit in the corner because they're bad little babies, put them in gay baby jail. Let James Gunn have complete creative control, which they said they're doing, but with
We'll see.
DC's track record, they like to say a lot of things. Um, and I think that's the reason Marvel started to go downhill was they kept telling James Gunn, make more. And even James Gunn in a couple different interviews was like, yeah, you know, I have the phases planned out, but then I had to make extra movies. So that's why sometimes they drag on a little bit because suddenly I have more content than I originally planned for. And I think that's like, and if I remember correctly, that was a Reddit AMA where he said something along those lines. And I think that's why Marvel went downhill because they oversaturated the market with their IP and they made so much bloat that like some of the movies just fell flat in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially post like Infinity War saga.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've got my own opinions on that. Like, my personal opinion probably should have ended after after Endgame, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, it's a discussion for another time. But yeah.
Endgame was a perfect endpoint and then reboot. It would have been so easy,
Yeah.
so easy.
Absolutely.
Especially because you had like Chadwick Boseman die shortly after that, so you could have realistically gotten away with a new Black Panther and kind of tell the story from a different perspective. But we could talk all day about that. But
Oh yeah,
like,
that's an entire different episode of this. It's like,
oh yeah,
yeah, what went wrong, what went right, and all that. No, yeah. So yeah, continue.
I was just gonna say I trust James Gunn completely. I think if DC stops doing DC things like they have with like Rocksteady's Arkhamverse with Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, which is a great game if you don't think about it as part of the Arkhamverse, and you just like suspend your disbelief and don't think about the comics and just enjoy the ride. Gameplay's fun, story is goofy, it's a good time. But Warner Brothers said something to the similar effect that they said with Gotham Knights that had post-patch or post-launch content planned and they got canned, which was like, this has not met our expectations. Rah, rah, rah. And it's like, DC, if you don't allow people to make their art, of course the art's gonna not hit your expectations financially. Because gamers aren't dumb. We have so many choices now. We can do whatever. And so are moviegoers. I can watch pretty much any movie at home now. I don't even have to go to the movie theater. If you
Why?
want me to
Yeah.
go to the movie
Why do you
theater,
want to go to the movie theater? It's crowded. It's
it's
stinky. People are
expensive.
noisy. It's
Yeah.
expensive.
I can't. And the thing is, too, I'm not one of the people that's problematic at movies. I might say a quick aside quietly to my buddies, but like,
Mm-hmm.
at least when I'm at home, me and my buddies can watch and shoot the shit during the movie with the subtitles on. And
And
still
you
have
can
a
pause it.
fantastic time. Exactly. And I can pause it to be like, holy shit, did you guys just see that? Like, I just feel like if DC wants us to go to movies so they make more money per box office, because that's really what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Make fantastic movies that are worth me not just waiting 2 months to go see at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and just let artists do their art. I don't know. I'll step off the soapbox now.
No, yeah, I completely agree because now we have Dune Part Two coming out as well, and that's Warner
I've heard
Brothers.
great things.
I've heard really good things as well. I don't understand part one, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in part two. Because I'm not a Dune fan. Like, I've never read the books, so I don't actually know what's going on, other than the
Can I
fact that it's like fantasy Star Wars or like Lord of the Rings Star Wars or something like that. I don't know. It's really weird.
can I
But
sidebar
any,
you really quick?
what's
Just
that?
about before we move off of Dune.
Uh huh.
Have you seen the popcorn bucket for Dune? Everybody trying to fuck the popcorn bucket, and I think that's
Yeah, yeah. Marketing design for that
hilarious.
was, what the hell were they smoking?
Oh yeah, like I saw on Twitter a guy that said he had a shirt that said "I'm here to fuck the Dune 2 popcorn bucket," and he had the Dune 2 popcorn bucket in his hands, and I just how. Oh my god! Right? Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh
Oh.
yeah, that was a really bad move in like
Yeah.
marketing design.
Listen. It's the design guys that were problematic. The marketing guys knocked it out of the park because, oh my god, I saw Twitter blow up with people saying, got the Dunussy popcorn
The
bucket.
Dunussy, the Wormussy.
Oh my god.
I need,
Uh,
that's what, AMC or Cinemark? I can't
I think
remember
it's
where.
AMC that does the
Of
popcorn
course,
bucket.
it is AMC. It's always gonna be AMC that has the good shit.
Right? And then I have to get that $3 markup on the ticket, and then I gotta pay $15 for it. But I want my Dunussy. I want it.
Hmm. And then you got to put the popcorn in, which is another $10.
Oh, whoa. I'm not putting popcorn in it. I'm putting something else in it. Hey, yo!
Mm. Ayo.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Dune Part Two is, I think, out or coming out
I think
this
it's
month.
out. I'm pretty certain. I might be wrong.
I
But
can't.
I've
I
been
don't know.
waiting
I don't
for
remember.
Dune Part 2 to come out to watch Part 1 because I heard it was good.
Hmm.
But I read like the first 30 pages of that book and got confused. And I was like, you know what?
I've got the graphic novel and I'm confused.
Right? They just like expect you to know shit or just hold on to all this information for, I don't know, like 10 chapters. I can't do that. I got 3 brain cells, bro, and 2 of them are thinking about food.
It's gonna be interesting. This is probably one movie I'm actually gonna go to theaters to see, because I saw the first one at home because they released it both in theaters and at home, I do believe.
Yeah, it was the simultaneous release because it was around
Yeah,
COVID times.
yeah. So yeah, I watched it in at home here out at, on the like the theater
The
room,
local
and
theater.
I
Yeah.
was I was really confused, and
Yeah. Like I'm a Zendaya fan, but I'm not that much of a Zendaya fan, you know? I'm not
like
taking to
she was
sit there
barely
with
even in the
3 hour
movie,
movie.
in the first movie. Yeah,
Ooh, I hear she's got a bigger part this time though, so that's good.
yeah, that is.
Zendaya fans rejoice.
Exactly. But yeah, that also, yeah, that so yeah, Dune Part Two is coming out, and I don't really know any other Warner Brothers movie that's coming out soon. So I I don't understand why they don't release the movies.
I
Coyote
think
versus Acme.
I think it's really just the taking losses on purpose thing, because they are also stretching their like yearly budget out too far, in my opinion. They're
Mm.
constantly producing a shit ton of comics, shit ton of movies, shit ton of video games, shit ton of TV shows, like it just and books. They do books now. I
They
didn't
do
even realize they
books.
do books. Yeah, some of their properties they have people write books for. It makes no sense to me.
What
Like
the
just
fuck?
choose 2 out of those 3 things and you're gonna be fine. But it really does feel to me that they're just so worried about their budget. They're like, okay, we can make it back at the end of the year by just like, for instance, killing their streaming service and just selling all the rights to HBO for those
Hmm.
shows for streaming rights. And then they're like, okay, so we took a shit ton of loss on that, so we can put that into these things. But it's like, instead of shooting yourself in the foot on purpose every year, just focus on less projects. Because I feel like trying to keep up with Marvel, like you said earlier, kind of wrapping that point back into itself, don't do what Marvel does. You're not Marvel. You can't handle it. You don't have this like incredible, you know, multi-billion-dollar company behind you to just funnel money into you. You
Like, you
are
are the
independent.
multi-billion-dollar company, and you can barely keep up with that.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not Disney, bro. No one is Disney but Disney. It's okay to not be Disney. Just do what you do
Yes,
good, and shorten your scope, and you'll be fine. I think
DC
they're just trying to be something they're not.
DC is dark, fantastical, and sometimes pretty lighthearted, but they're not Marvel. They're
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
not Marvel, and they need to stop trying to be Marvel. And which is why I honestly think that Warner Brothers doesn't deserve to have DC anymore. Like, if I were to get rid of DC from Warner Brothers, I would probably give it over to maybe either Paramount or Universal.
I think I'd do Universal. Universal has proven time and time again that it's able to handle vastly different IPs, right? So they can handle Dr. Seuss. They can also handle fucking Terminator. Like they're so able to have multi-genre entertainment without losing the core of the source material. I don't
Hmm.
think I've ever seen someone complain that a Universal movie was a completely different thing than they were expecting.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, also they run like 3 or 4 theme parks, so they have enough money where it doesn't really matter if everything's a commercial success or not. It's really there to sell merch, and potentially end up in their theme parks. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I don't. Does Warner Brothers have a theme park? I don't think Warner Brothers has a
Warner
theme
Brothers
park.
used to be owned by, or pardon me, Warner Brothers and Paramount used to kind of like co-op one another. The same thing with Nickelodeon,
Mm,
where they would all. It was like Carowinds, for instance, one of the parks where they'd have all their like rides themed around that shit,
yeah.
and then eventually Cedar Point buys them out and just completely trashes their theme park presence. So that's also around the same time that Nickelodeon closed their own studio or their own theme park, and then put one into Universal, and then eventually closed that as well.
Oh wait.
Random niche knowledge, by the way. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That just reminds me. Thinking of theme parks, Warner Brothers has some of their IPs in like Six Flags.
Oh, that makes sense. They probably sold those park rights to Six Flags. Oh wait, yeah, I literally just went to duh. Fucking duh. Hit the duh button.
Yeah.
I literally lived across the street from Six Flags over Fiesta, Texas. Believe it or not, there is a cemetery right across the street. That's where I was living, but we moved crypts recently.
Hmm.
And yeah, they just have like all of the Looney Tunes for some reason. Oh, by the way, they've got all the DC stuff there too. I think it's just they're probably getting less money out of Six Flags because Six Flags doesn't own them. And I don't
Yeah.
think Six
That would
Flags
make
wants to own
sense.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. That would make sense. I don't know. It's weird, random knowledge. But yeah. I don't
With
know.
our
It.
powers combined, we have the correct amount of autism to answer any question.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I just really want some other studio to have a crack at like DC or Looney Tunes because I feel like they're not getting the respect that they truly deserve at Warner Brothers. In all
Well, I think
honesty.
Warner Brothers is more of a bank, it seems like, than a business at this point.
Hmm.
They're really just like, I want to keep as much money as possible, and I want to take as little risk as possible. So I'll just keep throwing things out of my streaming services and take them as a loss at the end of the year.
Like
So just
seriously,
need to
they're
produce an
canceling so
unreasonable
much
amount.
stuff on HBO Max,
Oh yeah.
and they're not putting enough into it.
Well, that's not even just a WB problem. That's also like a Netflix Hulu problem. Like, unless it completely blows everything out of the water, they cancel it after one season because that's like the magic number for streaming. Because
Yeah, for
inevitably numbers go down.
streaming services are the new Fox network.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get it to an extent from a business perspective. If the number go down, it's better to like just purely monetarily make a new series that's going to be a hit than try to continue a series that's not going to do that well
Yeah,
compared
yeah,
to when it first launched. Like I think Hazbin Hotel is a good example of how Amazon has approached this issue. Instead of making one season 16 episodes, they split it into two 8-episode seasons.
yeah, yeah.
So we'll see how that works out. I know Amazon doesn't typically cancel their originals too quick.
No, Amazon, out of all the streaming services, Amazon is definitely the one that is killing it with original content and consistent content as well.
Oh yeah, and not canceling things early.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
just
think a good
letting it
example.
ride the wave and just grow in popularity.
Oh yeah, I mean like you know that I live, die, and breathe, or lack thereof now. Invincible comics.
Yeah.
I love Invincible. I've been reading it for ages. The Iverse is really cool. So I loved seeing everybody else get introduced to, in my opinion, what is a D-list comic. You know, it's not super popular before that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can't buy the comics on release, which is a good problem to have, admittedly.
It really is a good problem to have, but
Uh,
honestly, give us our comics.
yeah, right. I think they're still unsure of how many to print. So like, I
Just print
haven't
them
read.
all. Just print them all.
Oh yeah, I mean, like up until like 2 or 3 years ago, I just didn't have the money to buy every comic as it came out, so I'm a bit behind. But
That's
I'm pretty sure
absolutely
it's
fair.
completely
I've
finished.
only just now started having money to spend on comics, and I've got a whole stack like right over here in front of my
That's pretty
movies.
nice.
It really is. It's just like I'm getting in touch more with, or I'm getting invested more in like the Transformers GI Joe crossover that is happening,
Ooh,
because that is really good.
it's
If you
wacky.
aren't reading the Skybound Transformers crossover comic series, it is really fucking good. You got Transformers Void Rivals, which is more or less separate from the crossover, but still in that universe. You also have Duke and Cobra Commander at the moment.
Ooh, you know, if you're getting into comics, I also highly recommend manhwa. So, like for instance, I read Solo Leveling before it came out as an anime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, dude! I just there are so many really good manhwa and like manga that just you accidentally stumble upon, and you're like, oh my goodness,
I
this
think
is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I actually think I have the manga or the light novel on my bookcase. I can't see
Ooh,
which one it is, but yeah, Solo Leveling is a fantastic story, and I need to start the actual show.
I'm excited to see what the differences are in the anime from the manhwa because like
Mhm.
oh my goodness, the manhwa side story afterwards too. I hope we get that as like a movie. It'd be
Oh
nice.
yeah, nice. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I don't know I'm not gonna really talk too much more about DC or stuff, but I do want to say, keeping on comics, keeping on with comics. It's yeah, definitely check out the Skybound Transformers series. It is fantastic, and I'm still trying to get the first issue of Ultimate Spider-Man because it's
It's
a
so
really good
expensive.
series.
Yeah.
It's a really good series because it's not the same as the original Ultimate Spider-Man from back in the day. It's about Peter Parker who was bitten by a radioactive spider in his mid 30s,
Yep.
and he's having to learn all this stuff now. He has a really good relationship with MJ. He has a daughter
And he
and
has to
a
juggle
son.
all that shit. I think a really good parallel to draw from would be Peter B. Parker from
Oh
the
yeah,
Spider Verse
yeah,
series. Very
absolutely.
similar struggles.
Mhm. Yeah, but I have the second issue, which is all that has been available for the time being, and
Unless you want to
I'm
deal with scalpers.
hell
Yeah.
no, hell no.
Ugh.
But yeah, the second issue is really good too. He meets the Shocker, and that was hilarious. That was a hilarious
Oh yeah.
interaction.
I also really like the way that Marvel does electric themed supervillains because a lot of
Ooh,
times
yeah,
they're almost like characterized like drug addicts, which I think is really interesting because it's like it kind of makes sense. You're overcharging your neurological system, which is what a lot of drugs do is just make your brain misfire basically.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I do agree with that. Yeah.
I think
Uh.
we talked a little bit about this type of concept on the patch notes this past week.
Uh huh.
Uh, Episode doesn't come out yet, but I think this is the era of indie, like everything, honestly. Indie entertainment. Like, we've got so many indie games that are kicking butt. We've got indie comics, like Iverse is an indie comic. So Invincible comes from that. You've got manhwa that are becoming fully fledged anime now. Like, stuff that I wouldn't have believed if you told me 15 years ago is now just becoming a thing. And I just adore that we're getting fresh takes on things because it doesn't see a C-level exec first.
Speaking of indie and indie comics, I've got two that you actually might enjoy.
Ooh.
Um, Funny enough, Keanu Reeves. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Keanu Reeves has a comic out right now called
No
Berserk.
way!
Hell yeah! Let me pull it up. Let me pull. It's called Berserk, and it looks and
It's
sounds
not like
fantastic.
the manga Berserk, yeah?
No, no, absolutely not.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah,
But
anything Keanu Reeves, I'm on like stink on a skunk.
oh yeah, no, no, no.
I've got my Keanu Reeves shrine over here in the crypt. It's pretty crazy.
I'm sorry, Berserker, not
Berserker,
Berserk.
okay. I think I've
Um,
seen that at Barnes and Noble maybe a couple times.
Possibly. Let me.
I
Here
didn't
we
know
go.
he was
Let me
behind
pull it
that.
up. Sorry for all the audio listeners.
It's okay. I can goof around next time. Oh my
Yeah,
god, that looks so sick. It's just Keanu Reeves.
it's just Keanu Reeves.
Okay, so audio listeners, I will describe this. It looks like John Wick got angry because you stole his lunch money and you haven't paid him back yet. He's got what looks like a knife to be in like inches away from his heart. He's got his arm wrapped up with a couple arrows in that bitch. And it looks like the Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 gas behind him. So maybe this is a Poppy Playtime crossover. I'm not sure. Interesting choice on his part, but it looks sick as hell. I might be
It.
clowning on it, but it looks so cool. I love the art style.
Oh yeah.
It's very reminiscent of it's kind of almost reminiscent of the art style from the original Clone Wars animated series or Primal. Similar kind of vibes that I'm getting. It's just the line art is a little bit
Mm-hmm.
thicker. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm coming from
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally just Keanu Reeves. That's so cool. I love this. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah. No,
introducing me to
yeah. No
this.
problem.
I'm literally gonna immediately buy this and read it.
So another one I wanted to show as well is called Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer.
No way! This looks so fucking cool! Okay, wait. So, audio listeners, I got you again. Hey, what's
Oh
up, guys?
God,
Here.
this is great.
So we've got what looks to be a cartoonish Harriet Tubman, kind of in the style of like an Adult Swim animated series. I would even say it's almost similar art style to like the Walking Dead comic series. She's holding two katana. Looks like a bunch of arrows with nothing to shoot them. And just above her are two wolf men on either side of her, a vampire, a guy from the KKK, and then a guy with a brown leather mask on with a red flannel on and a torch. So it looks pretty freaking cool, man. Oh my god, there's another one. Oh my god. Okay, so the second one he just pulled up. Hey, what's up, Daz here for audio listeners. Love you. We've got what looks to be some Castlevania-esque vampires. I'm talking about like the Netflix animated series. There you go, anime nerds. And we've got Harriet Tubman again with like wrapped arms, twin katanas. This time she's kind of got this like almost like I would say hyper stylized version of the Venture Bros animation style kind of going on.
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm coming from with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's kind of like ready to slice at all of the vampires coming up from her from the top right. And that's for Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer Volume 2.
So yeah, I got the first couple issues from Kingwood Comics, an indie comic book publisher. But this is actually the cover that I got on my comic book on
Holy
the
shit.
first issue, and the first issue was wild.
That looks like a
Like
limited edition cover if I had to take a guess. That's usually
it
what
is
that is.
definitely a variant. It was a variant cover of the first issue, but yeah.
So, audio listeners, hey, what's up? Daz here again. So this time, Harriet Tubman is in a forest and she's covered in blood. Not hers, assumedly. She's got a cape now, like a shawl almost. It's all tattered in the back. She's got only one katana out this time, a vampire head in the other, and it looks like a red and white kind of like do-rag thing going on. It's pretty fucking sick. She looks so kick-ass. and in the left and right side of the forest are like little red beady eyes. So fucking cool. Oh my god, the color theory goes hard on this cover.
Oh, absolutely does. I love it. It's not one you would really expect to work, but considering Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter did okay, was an interesting concept. I am all down for this.
Oh, dude, I don't know how you found my exact niche of silly for the comics I like to read, but you just nailed like 3 back to back. Like one's hyper kind of aggressive violence shit. I love that. The art style looks cool as fuck. Then you give me Harriet fucking Tubman, Demon Slayer, bro.
Dude,
Oh my god,
it
it's
goes
so
hard.
cool. It goes so hard. It goes so hard.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. Pick it up at your local comic book shop.
that's awesome.
Same with Berserker, Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah.
Both
Also,
amazing.
instead of buying things off Amazon, whenever you can, support your local comic book shop. It's typically around the
Absolutely.
same price. And you know what you don't have to wait for? Shipping!
And we actually get the physical copy
Oh,
because you
yeah.
can actually own it instead of it being a digital license.
I'm not sure if anyone else has had this issue, right? But I've had this issue consistently where I buy a comic from Amazon and it comes slightly damaged. Never had that
Mm.
issue at a comic book store. Literally ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I hate Amazon shipping with books. They
And
do not care whatsoever.
you would think because they started out as a freaking book company that, they would be able to get that right, but they don't. 9 times out of 10, when I get a book from there, like the edges are all dented in or there's a scrape across the front. Like, it's like
Or
the
it's been
people.
sliding around in an open box.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, just saran wrap that thing, man. It's not hard. Telling you.
Seriously, it only takes like 5 minutes.
Not even. It takes like maybe like 30 seconds if you got the big rolls. You can just whoop, 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 done. Easy.
I
But
don't know.
you
We're
can
just
see
going
where you
ranting
can
on.
see we're turbo nerds. It's all right.
Yeah, just ranting on. Yeah,
I'm
ranting on.
surprised the other Zeros to Heroes guys let us have a podcast together.
Yeah, absolutely. That reminds me. That absolutely reminds me. I don't know why I'm doing this in the middle of the podcast because no one's actually gonna listen all the way to the middle. But we do have a Patreon that I
Oh,
need
good
to
point.
revive. So,
And maybe we can show them silly little bloopers because
yeah,
sometimes we do. Well, not even sometimes we do cut a decent bit out of some of our recording sessions
yeah. Sometimes go
because
off
we just
topic.
be
Sometimes
ranting.
just dead air, all that. Or sometimes topics just don't go anywhere. But yeah,
Oh yeah, like I remember,
uh,
for instance, the first episode of Patch Notes. We had a little bit of a rant sesh in the middle of the recording session. It had
mhm.
nothing to do with what we were talking about. Not at all.
Not at all. I think
Oh my
good
god.
like 5-10 minutes cut out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying, I do need to revive the Patreon. It's gonna be $1 only for everything. Like if you guys want to donate more, that's fine. Just $1 base to get everything. Like bloopers, special podcasts. Speaking of special podcasts, I think if we do Patreon, we should do like a special Patreon only podcast.
I think it'd be cool to do maybe like a maybe we do every once in a while we do like a D&D live play.
Oh,
That'd be fun.
that'd be fun. That'd definitely
Yeah.
be fun.
I could you know what, we all like superheroes. I have created a custom Masks a New Generation character sheet that does all the math for you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, on
nice.
Google Sheets. I am the only person who I guess took the. I think it took me like 6 hours to do all of the stupid math to make it work, and it works. So I'd be down to run that if you guys are. Maybe we could do that as like a little Patreon 3 shot or something.
Yeah.
We can release
We'll workshop it.
some like maybe release the first episode natively and then the other two on Patreon, and we can get some cool little clips out of that for TikTok. It'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I think we'll workshop it or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, what? So this is kind of a topic I wanted to do, but also just something randomly that I thought up at the last minute because I couldn't really find anything else to talk about. Um, I want to talk about our favorite underrated movies. Like,
Hmm.
not movies that did well in box office, but people just shit on it. I'm talking about things that didn't do too well in the box office, but actually are really good that people might not know about.
Hmm.
So I've got
Hit
one
me.
off the top of my head.
Go for it. Rock on.
That would be Edge of Tomorrow.
You're edging in here? Okay. All right.
ah,
That we gotta save that for the Patreon. Hold on.
ah,
Yeah,
damn it.
right. Tell me more. Tell me more, Magic Man.
Edge of Tomorrow is a movie starring Emily Blunt and uh, Tom Cruise of all people. It's a time loop post-apocalyptic war movie. Like, if you ever heard of the manga All You Need Is Kill, it is directly based off of that story.
Oh,
So
that's sick as
it's
fuck.
it's a manga adaptation, loosely manga adaptation. Um, but the original title was actually going to be All You Need Is Kill, but they didn't want to use kill in the title because Kill Bill doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we had Edge of Tomorrow, which is weird title, but so the premise is the human race is fighting against an alien threat, and Tom Cruise gets infected with alien goop and is able to go back to a certain point every time he dies.
Oh shit. That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. And I thought it was an amazing movie, but it didn't do too well in box office because not a lot of people went to see it because the marketing was shit.
That's always the worst. That's I know a decent bit about marketing. Not like I'm not, the fucking bee's knees of marketing
Mhm.
by any means, right? I'm willing to admit that, but I know enough to get around and enough to be dangerous. And
Yeah,
I hate it when you have a fantastic product and your marketing team just sucked so bad that nothing good came of it. But
yeah,
I got a
Sony.
couple. Oh my god! Don't get me started. I could talk for 30 minutes about that alone. But I've got a couple.
Yeah, yeah, go.
Um, so one of my favorites throughout high school was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Dude,
Oh, that movie did not do well. It was so good.
it was
Oh my goodness.
Samuel L. Jackson was in it.
I know.
And what
It's
was
so
it?
surprising to me that people just forgot it existed. Like,
Who was it? Young Freddie Highmore or something? No, not Freddie Highmore. The kid who looked a lot like him.
shit. Well, actually, I guess I got three now that I'm thinking about it. I got three. But
2016. Holy, that was a 2016 movie. Asa Butterfield. That's who it was.
hell yeah.
Yeah, this movie was really good. It's like it was odd but good. Like 2 hours. Wow,
Oh yeah.
really?
It's a really really good movie. I was so upset that we never got a sequel because it sets up a sequel immediately. But
Don't it? Isn't there actually going to be like a TV show based on the books?
maybe that I think that would be a much better format for this specific like series because I feel like the
Definitely.
movie format you just sit there for too long. It's not Lord of the Rings. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Another really good movie, in my opinion, that was really really it's one of those movies that's so bad it's good, like The Room. Fateful Findings.
Hmm.
This dude directed, wrote, and acted in it. Neil Breen. Oh my god, it's so fucking hilarious, man. I can't recommend watching it enough. I may also though recommend that you watch it after a couple drinks, if we're gonna be completely honest. Um, and then I guess my last one is probably just Dude, Where's My Car? It's one of my favorite stoner comedies. It's
All
done
right.
in all the right ways. It kind of one of the first movies to start that stoner comedy craze in the early 2000s. It's hilarious. It's got Ashton Kutcher and crap. I can't remember the blonde dude's name. Damn it. Hold on. Fuck man. His name is Sean William Scott.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was in a lot of those early 2000s comedies. You probably know him better from American Pie, for instance,
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
as Stifler.
interesting. Um,
But there you go, a wide array of movies for anyone who wants to give that a shot. All of those are really great. Again, Fateful Findings, I would recommend watching a little bit of Inebriated. It's pretty bad, but in a fun way.
yeah. So, before we end, one more that I really enjoy that I don't see a lot of people talking about, more or less because it came out in 2005, but it's still a really good movie nonetheless. Nanny McPhee.
Oh my god, Nanny McPhee was banger.
Like it had 74 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good, but overall it did maybe like 50 to 60% overall. But it had Emma Thompson, Colin Firth, Angelina Lansbury, Kelly MacDonald, and Thomas Brody Stangster.
You know, I think that the reason why Nanny McPhee didn't do nearly as well as it could have is just because a lot of people don't like watching someone they perceive as ugly in a movie as the main character.
Hmm.
And the whole entire point of Nanny McPhee is she's ugly. She's trying to
Yeah,
teach the kids to be good people. She's got like two horrid moles. Her nose is like
moles,
filthy,
warts,
unibrow.
gap teeth.
Oh yeah, like a constant tooth that just peeks out over her lip.
Yeah,
But it's such a great movie. That's pretty wholesome, man. I really recommend it. It's good.
and it really is such a great movie, and I always compare it somewhat similarly to Mary Poppins because it is somewhat similar to Mary Poppins. A magical nanny, comes to watch the children, and in the end, they turn out better than they were before.
I
But
I would also compare it from a cinematic standpoint to a series of unfortunate events. A lot of the
mm,
shots are very similar. A lot of the set dressings are very similar.
okay, yeah,
It's just more lighthearted for sure, without a doubt.
yeah,
So I think with those two combos combined, you get the vibe of the movie.
yeah, I can say that. Speaking of unfortunate series and unfortunate events, the movie wasn't terrible.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Like
Yeah,
Jim Carrey
Jim
did
Carrey killed the. He
really
carried
well.
that whole fucking movie,
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
Like, I don't know what the director was on. The cinematography is
It
great.
was he was on shrooms. That's what it was on.
There you go. That'd do it. Yeah, shrooms and a little bit of maybe heroin. I don't know.
Same with the
We can
author,
check in.
but still, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, but the cinematography was fantastic. The director sucked, and the writing was just not great or faithful to the source material all the time. And I think that's my
No.
issue with filming movies based on books. Is if you don't want to make a movie based on the book, don't say it's based on the book in the trailer. You know, like you can say loosely inspired by the book. I'll watch it and I won't go in there expecting it to be just like the book. You know?
Yeah, and that's kind of my problem with the TV show because the movie version of Count Olaf so was actually pretty accurate to the books
Yeah.
in looks and how he acted that I just didn't feel that way with the series with the TV show.
Hell yeah.
Like I don't know, I don't know, it's really weird, but yeah, yeah, those are underrated favorite underrated movies. Check them out if you guys have a chance. They should be on pretty much anything, but or you can just go yo ho ho.
Yeah, I was
Anyways,
about to say most, at least Fateful Findings in particular. It's on Google. It's pretty cheap. I think it was like $10 last time I checked. I can give you a definite thing here, and it's good enough where it's my favorite bad movie to show people. Because it's like, whew, it's like a high school movie bad is the way I would put it. Yeah, you can
mm,
buy it from $13 on Google Play and Amazon Prime.
all right,
And on YouTube, of course, because Google and YouTube be the same thing.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, it's remarkably bad. Uh, but it's fun. It's like fun bad, you know. Like if you liked The Room, you'll probably like this.
There is a movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's one we should probably watch sometime
Oh my
again.
god.
Just because it would be so balls to the walls bad and hilarious.
Oh yeah. Well, I think this dude spent like I think it was something like $3,000 or $4,000 on Fateful Findings, like because he's an independent producer and like obviously film artist.
Hmm.
And the reason why everybody likes him is because it's just not good, but it's so funny and he's so serious about it. But maybe we could do a double feature. You know, The Room and then Fateful Findings. That could be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. We do have a Discord, so
Hey,
we are wanting to do movie nights. So
that could be
if you
fun.
guys, yeah, if you guys want to follow us, you guys want to hang out over there, links will be in the description.
Hear me out.
Hmm.
Why don't we do it the week after a con?
Ooh, that'd be fun.
I think
That would
that'd be a
definitely
good
be
way to
fun.
celebrate.
Yeah, 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 definitely. All right. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode of Absolute Zeros podcast. Daz, thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining. It's been fun as always.
Of course, it's always my pleasure to be here. I'm happy to be a part of the team, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not too much to talk about, but definitely had our opinions on some things.
Oh yeah, hey, you know that whenever we don't have a whole lot of stuff prepped, I'm your guy. I can stretch 30 minutes into an hour.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Again, we are on Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, we're also on YouTube.
Mhm.
So that being said, we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Until then, peace out.